Maya Chin woke at 6, before the city's ambient hum reached their floor. The apartment was quiet except for the soft hiss of the coffee maker Daniel had programmed the night before. She lay still for a moment, studying the water stain on the ceiling, shaped like a bird in flight, she'd always thought, and felt the familiar weight of another Sunday settling over her chest. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. One message from Vanessa Park, her financial advisor, portfolio review scheduled for Tuesday. Q3 dividends processing. Another from Cordelia Whitmore, family brunch tomorrow at the club. 11 a.m. sharp. Try to dress appropriately this time, Maya. Maya's jaw tightened. She deleted neither message. In the kitchen, Daniel stood at the counter in pajama pants and a faded art school t-shirt, scrolling through student artwork on his tablet. Paint residue darkened the beds of his fingernails, cobalt blue this week. He looked up when she entered, and his whole face softened in that way that still, after 7 years, made her breath catch. "Coffee's ready," he said, already reaching for her favorite mug, the chipped one with the fading Klimt print. "And I made toast." "Well, I put bread in the toaster." "Same thing." She accepted the mug, let her fingers brush his. "Revolutionary culinary technique, I'm a visionary." He showed her the tablet screen. "Look at this. Jenna Park, you remember her? The quiet kid in third period?" She finally figured out perspective. "This is gorgeous." Maya studied the digital painting, a city street at dusk, light pooling under street lamps, shadows stretching long. "She's talented, she is. Her mom works 2 jobs, can't afford private lessons, but Jenna stays after school every day to use the studio." Pride warmed his voice. "Kids like her are why I teach," Maya knew. It was one of the things she loved about him, this unshakable belief that art mattered, that creativity had value beyond market price. It was also the thing his mother despised most. Her phone buzzed again. "Cordelia, in the family group chat, don't forget tomorrow. Can't wait to introduce everyone to Vanessa Park. Such an accomplished young woman. Daniel, you'll want to hear about her Napa project, very exciting opportunities." Daniel's expression shifted, tension creeping into his shoulders. "You don't have to go, I know, I mean it. If you don't want to deal with my mothers, Daniel." She set down her mug, took his hand. "I go because you're worth it." He squeezed her fingers, but his eyes held doubt. He always looked like this before family gatherings, a man bracing for impact. What Daniel didn't know, what nobody knew, was that while he was bracing for his mother's verbal barbs, Maya was reviewing mental calculations, the $847 million in her investment portfolio, the quarterly dividends from her grandfather's patents. The shell corporations funneling money into Whitmore luxury properties to keep them solvent. The phone buzzed a third time. "Vanessa," in their private thread, "Cordelia requested I attend brunch tomorrow. Told her I had a conflict but she insisted." "What do you want me to do?" Maya typed back, "except. I want to see what she's planning." The Riverside Country Club occupied prime real estate along the waterfront, all glass walls and imported marble, designed to broadcast wealth to anyone driving past. Maya had researched the membership fees once: $75,000 initiation, $12,000 annual dues. She paid them, funneled through a corporate account Cordelia believed belonged to Richard's business contacts. She'd been subsidizing the Whitmore's country club lifestyle for 3 years. The valet took Daniel's 10-year-old sedan with barely concealed disdain, parking it between a Tesla and a Porsche like a rusted apology. Maya smoothed her Target dress, floral print, $32, comfortable, and watched Daniel tug at his collar. He'd worn khakis and a button-down. They both looked exactly like what they were, public school employees who shopped at discount stores. Inside, Cordelia Whitmore held court at the head table like a monarch granting audiences. She wore Chanel. Maya recognized the cut, the signature buttons. Her hair was professionally styled, her skin suspiciously smooth for 58. She'd had work done but would die before admitting it. Daniel. Maya. Cordelia's voice carried across the dining room. So glad you could make it, the table was already half full. Richard Whitmore, 62, graying at the temples, looked up from his mimosa with a tired smile that didn't reach his eyes. Sienna Whitmore, 28, was showing her phone to another woman, both of them laughing at something on the screen. Maya recognized the laugh, the kind that said they were laughing at someone, not with them. Maya, darling, that dress is so cheerful, Cordelia said as they approached. Her eyes performed a clinical scan, Target labeled to discount shoes to drugstore makeup. You always look so comfortable. I admire that about you, truly. Not everyone can pull off the casual look, the table twittered, polite, knowing laughter. Daniel's hand found Maya's back, a gesture of support that came 5 seconds too late. Thanks, Cordelia, Maya said evenly. You look lovely too. She meant it as a simple compliment, but Cordelia's smile sharpened. She heard the subtext, lovely was what you called someone trying too hard. Sienna looked up from her phone, finally registering their presence. Oh my God, you guys came. Mom said you might not make it. She held out her left hand, displaying a diamond that could pay Maya's annual salary. Look. Chad proposed. The ring caught the light, throwing rainbows across the white tablecloth. It was large, expensive, and, Maya noted with the part of her brain that automatically assessed value, poorly cut. Someone had prioritized size over quality. Congratulations, Daniel said warmly. When's the wedding? Next spring. We're thinking Bali. Or maybe the Maldives. Somewhere tropical and exclusive. Sienna's gaze slid to Maya. Destination weddings are so much more intimate, you know? Just close family and people who can actually afford to travel. The implication landed like a blade between ribs. The Maldives are beautiful this time of year, Maya said. I hope you have a wonderful celebration. Cordelia gestured to empty chairs. Sit, sit. We have so much to discuss. Richard, tell them about the business expansion. Richard straightened slightly, animated by the subject of work. We're breaking ground on a new development, luxury mixed use in the waterfront district. Office space, high-end retail, penthouse condos. Our investors are very excited. Maya knew every detail of that development. She'd structured the financing, arranged the permits through contacts Vanessa had cultivated, and funneled $2.3 million into the project over the past 8 months. The Whitmores thought they'd secured funding from a private equity group called Cascade Investments. Cascade Investments was one of Maya's shell corporations. That sounds ambitious, Daniel said. Congratulations, Dad, it's been a team effort, Richard said, and Maya caught the slight edge in his voice, the tone of a man who knew the team was barely holding together. Cordelia pivoted immediately. Speaking of team efforts, Vanessa should be here any minute. I invited her to join us. I thought Daniel would want to hear about the Napa opportunity. Maya felt Daniel tense beside her. Napa opportunity? He asked. A property development project. Luxury vineyard estates. Very exclusive. Cordelia's eyes gleamed. Vanessa's been consulting on it. She mentioned needing someone with aesthetic vision for the marketing design. I immediately thought of you. Before Daniel could respond, a woman approached the table. Vanessa Park moved like someone who'd learned to command space, shoulders back, chin level, heels clicking with purpose against marble. She wore a cream pantsuit that probably cost more than Maya's monthly rent, her hair pulled into a sleek bun that required both professional skill and expensive product. She was objectively beautiful in the way that came from good genetics, better skincare, and the confidence of never doubting your place in a room. Maya had hired her 3 years ago specifically because she could play this role. Cordelia, Richard, so wonderful to see you again. Vanessa's smile was warm, professional, perfectly calibrated. Her gaze swept the table, landing on Maya for exactly 2 seconds, long enough to acknowledge, too brief to suggest familiarity. Cordelia practically glowed. Everyone, this is Vanessa Park. She's been advising us on several exciting ventures. Vanessa went to Wharton, worked in private equity, and now consults for exclusive clients. She gestured to an empty chair. Please, join us. A waiter materialized with a chair. Vanessa sat directly across from Daniel, folding her hands on the table with the ease of someone who'd attended 1,000 such brunches. Daniel, Cordelia continued, Vanessa's the one I mentioned. She's brilliant with real estate portfolios and property aesthetics. I thought you two should talk about the Napa project. Daniel glanced at Maya, a question in his eyes. She kept her expression neutral, supportive. Whatever you want to do, I appreciate the thought, Mom, but I'm an art teacher. I don't know anything about property development. Nonsense. You have natural talent. Remember that gallery show you helped curate in college? You understand visual storytelling, spatial design. That's exactly what luxury property marketing needs. Cordelia turned to Vanessa. Doesn't he sound perfect for this? Vanessa's smile was diplomatic. The project could certainly benefit from creative input. Though of course, it's a significant time commitment. She addressed Daniel directly. It would require weekend site visits to scout properties and review design concepts. Only if you're interested, naturally. Maya watched the choreography unfold. Cordelia steering the conversation, creating proximity between Daniel and Vanessa, painting a picture of sophistication and opportunity that deliberately excluded Maya. Sienna leaned toward Maya, lowering her voice to a stage whisper. Isn't Vanessa gorgeous? And so accomplished. Mom says she's exactly the kind of sophisticated woman who understands our world, our world. The phrase hung between them like a fence with barbed wire. Maya met Sienna's eyes. She seems very professional. Oh, she is. She's helping Mom and Dad with all sorts of investments. She's a genius. Sienna's gaze flicked to Daniel and back. It's so nice when people actually understand business and money. You know? Not everyone does. The implication was clear, not you. Maya sipped her water and said nothing. 5 years of this. 5 years of coded insults and carefully worded dismissals. 5 years of watching Daniel's family treat her like a stain they couldn't quite remove from expensive upholstery. Cordelia was still talking, her voice bright with manufactured enthusiasm. The Napa project is really just the beginning. We have such exciting plans. Richard and I are finally seeing all our hard work pay off. The right investments, the right partnerships. She paused meaningfully. The right people around us. Maya caught the flash of nervousness in Richard's expression, there and gone in a second. She'd seen that look before, reviewed the financial statements that explained it. The Whitmores weren't seeing their hard work pay off. They were drowning in debt, buoyed only by the anonymous capital injections Maya provided monthly. Breakfast arrived, elaborate plates that cost more than most people's daily food budget. Maya had ordered the cheapest item on the menu, a fruit plate, because Cordelia had spent the previous visit making pointed comments about watching our figures. So Maya, Vanessa said, her tone polite and distant, Cordelia mentioned you work in social services, foster care placement. Maya confirmed. Clinical social work, that must be very rewarding. The way Vanessa said rewarding made it sound like a consolation prize for people who couldn't hack real careers, which was the point. Vanessa was playing her role perfectly. It is, Maya said. I helped place a 12-year-old with a permanent family last week. He'd been in the system for 5 years. How wonderful, Cordelia said, in the tone people used when they weren't really listening. She turned back to Daniel. Speaking of families, we're planning something special for our anniversary next month. 35 years. We're hosting a celebration here at the club. Big party, all our friends. I'd love for you to say a few words, Daniel. About family, partnership, the importance of choosing the right person to build a life with. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. Mom, I don't know if it would mean so much to us. You're so articulate, and you have such insight into relationships. Cordelia's smile was saccharine. You could talk about how people grow and change, how sometimes we make decisions when we're young that we later evolve beyond. Maya's water glass froze halfway to her lips. Cordelia continued blithely. Like how you've been expanding your horizons lately. Working with sophisticated professionals, engaging with real business opportunities. It's wonderful to see you growing into your potential. The message couldn't have been clearer if Cordelia had hired a skywriter. Richard cleared his throat. Cordelia, what? I'm just saying Daniel's been maturing. That's a good thing. She turned to Vanessa. Don't you think so? Haven't you noticed how Daniel's thinking has evolved since you've been working together? Vanessa's expression remained carefully neutral. Daniel's been very professional and insightful in our meetings. Plural. Maya filed that away. Daniel's hand found Maya's under the table, squeezing once. An apology, a reassurance, a plea for patience. She squeezed back, but inside, something was shifting. A decision crystallizing. 5 years was enough. Sienna was showing her phone around the table now, an Instagram post about destination wedding venues. Look at this one in Bali, private beach, luxury villas, completely exclusive. You have to be invited to even know it exists. That's beautiful, Maya said. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful celebration. Well, obviously not everyone will be able to come. It's very expensive, and we want to keep it intimate. Just people who really fit our vibe, you know. Maya knew. She wasn't invited. She wouldn't be invited. Daniel probably would be, but the logistics would make it difficult for a public school teacher to attend a week-long destination wedding in Bali. That was the point. Cordelia was describing the anniversary party now. 200 guests, sit-down dinner, speeches, dancing. It's going to be the event of the season. Everyone who matters will be there. Maya watched Daniel's face as his mother talked. Saw the resignation, the quiet defeat. He'd agreed to give a speech knowing Cordelia would twist it into something else. He'd smile and nod while his family insulted his wife. He'd keep the peace because that's what he always did, and Maya would sit in the back, wear her target dress, and accept the dismissal because she loved him, except she was tired. Tired of being invisible while funding their visibility. Tired of being mocked while ensuring they maintained their lifestyle. Tired of protecting people who would destroy her if they could. Her phone buzzed. Vanessa, under the table, are you seeing this? She's setting him up to divorce you. Maya typed back, I see it. What do you want to do? Maya looked at Cordelia, flushed with champagne and confidence, already planning her victory party. She looked at Richard, exhausted and complicit. She looked at Sienna, shallow and cruel. She looked at Daniel, kind and conflict avoidant and completely unaware of the war being waged around him. She typed, get me everything. Every transaction, every loan, every fraud. I want documentation for all of it. For what? The anniversary party. We're going to end this. She put her phone away and smiled at Cordelia. The party sounds lovely. We wouldn't miss it. Daniel was quiet on the drive home. He gripped the steering wheel too tightly, jaw working like he was chewing words he couldn't quite speak. I'm sorry, he finally said as they merged onto the highway. For what, my mother? The way he shook his head. She was being awful today. She's always awful, Maya said mildly. I know. I should have said something. I should have defended you, should have. past tense. He was already framing his failure as historical, something that couldn't be changed. Maya looked out the window at the city sliding past, glass towers and luxury apartments, the visible architecture of wealth. Daniel, do you want to do the Napa thing? What? No. I mean, it might be interesting, but what? But it's my mother trying to control my life. Again. And I don't want to spend weekends away from you doing something I don't even care about. Relief flickered through her. Okay, if you wanted to do it, I'd support you. But if you're doing it to keep peace with your mother, that's different. He was quiet for a long moment. You'd really support me spending weekends with Vanessa? Vanessa's your mother's pick, not mine. But you're an adult. I trust you. The truth was more complicated. She trusted Daniel completely. But she also knew Cordelia was orchestrating something, creating opportunities, planting seeds. Positioning Vanessa as the sophisticated alternative to Maya's bargain store simplicity, and she knew because Vanessa told her everything. Back at the apartment, Daniel headed straight for the shower. Maya heard the water start, knew he was washing off the morning's stress along with his mother's expectations. She pulled out her laptop and opened an encrypted folder, 5 years of financial records spread across her screen. Shell corporations, trust distributions, anonymous investments. $4.2 million funneled into Whitmore luxury properties through carefully constructed channels. Monthly capital injections ranging from $50,000 to $100,000, time to cover payroll shortfalls and debt payments. The country club membership, $75,000 initiation in Maya's corporate name, Whitmore's listed as family guests, the black Amex card Cordelia used, supplementary account on Maya's personal card, monthly charges averaging $22,000, the Maldives trip Cordelia mentioned, $47,000 charged to that card last spring, Sienna's Birkin bag, the one she displayed so proudly, $38,000, purchased with a card Maya paid off, every designer outfit, every luxury car payment, every country club cocktail, funded by the woman they treated like trash. Maya's phone rang. Vanessa, so that happened, Vanessa said without preamble. You played your part well. I felt dirty. Cordelia's setting up an affair that I want no part of. I know. And thank you for the warning about the Napa ownership structure. It's worse than I told you at brunch. I got the updated documents this morning. Papers rustled on Vanessa's end. She structured it so you get zero equity despite funding 90% of the project. It's theft, Maya. Straightforward fraud. Maya closed her eyes. How long until they know something's wrong, with current capital injections? About 45 days. The business can't sustain operations without your monthly transfers. The Napa project will collapse in 60 without the next major funding installment, and if I withdraw everything, bankruptcy within 6 weeks. They lose the business. The country club membership, probably the house. Richard mortgaged it for operating capital 3 years ago. Maya thought about Daniel's face at brunch. The resignation. The quiet defeat. Send me everything, she said. Every document, every transaction record, every piece of evidence. I want it all ready to present. When? The anniversary party. 200 witnesses, public venue, nowhere for Cordelia to hide. Maya felt something cold and solid settling in her chest, not anger, but determination. She wants to celebrate partnership and family values in front of everyone who matters. Perfect. Let's make it a celebration she'll never forget. Vanessa was quiet for a moment. This will destroy them. They've been trying to destroy me for 5 years. I've just been better at it. What about Daniel? Maya heard the shower shut off. I'll tell him. Before the party. He deserves to know the truth. All of it, all of it. She hung up as Daniel emerged from the bathroom, hair damp, wearing old sweatpants and a soft t-shirt. This was the version of him she loved, unpolished, unpretentious, completely himself. "Want to watch something?" he asked. "I'm thinking trashy reality TV and Chinese takeout," Maya smiled, closing her laptop. "Sounds perfect." They ordered lo mein and crab rangoon from the place down the street, settled onto their second-hand couch, and pulled up a cooking competition show where contestants made elaborate desserts from grocery store ingredients. Daniel laughed at the manufactured drama, made running commentary about structural integrity and fondant disasters. Maya leaned against his shoulder and tried to memorize this moment, this simple evening in their simple life, before everything got complicated. "I love you," she said during a commercial break. He looked at her, surprised and pleased. "I love you too." "Where'd that come from?" "Nowhere. Just wanted to say it." He kissed her forehead. "Well, I'm glad you did." Her phone buzzed. A text from Cordelia in the family group chat. "Such a lovely brunch. Can't wait for the anniversary celebration. Daniel, let me know when you want to discuss your speech. And thank you again, Vanessa, for joining us." Vanessa replied immediately, "My pleasure. Looking forward to continuing our work together." Maya deleted the thread without responding. 3 weeks until the anniversary party, 3 weeks to gather evidence, prepare the presentation, and decide how much truth Daniel could handle before his world imploded. She closed her eyes and let the sound of reality TV contestants arguing about ganache drown out the sound of her own thoughts. Tomorrow, she'd start planning the ending. Tonight, she'd pretend everything was fine. The forensic accountant's office occupied the 107th floor of the Meridian Tower, where holographic traffic patterns flickered across floor-to-ceiling windows and the city sprawled below like a circuit board coming alive. Maya Chin stood at the glass, watching delivery drones weave between buildings while Dr. Patricia Valdez spread quantum-encrypted tablets across the conference table behind her. 4.2 million credits. Patricia's voice carried the flat precision of someone who dealt in numbers, not emotions. Transferred over 63 months through 17 different shell accounts, all terminating in Whitmore Family Holdings. Maya turned from the window. The morning light caught the neural interface port behind her left ear, standard issue for anyone working in foster care coordination, invisible unless you knew where to look. "Show me the Vineyard Project." Patricia flicked her fingers across a tablet. A three-dimensional projection materialized above the table. Financial data streaming in translucent columns, red lines connecting Maya's trust accounts to a property in the Napa reconstruction zone. Total investment, $2.8 million. Your contribution, 90%. Ownership allocation as filed with the Land Registry Bureau. Patricia paused, her jaw tightening. 0%. How is that legal? It's not. Vanessa Reeves, Maya's actual attorney, not the business partner Cordelia believed her to be, leaned forward. Her augmented reality contact lenses flickered as she pulled up additional files. Cordelia manipulated the blockchain registration. She listed the trust fund as a charitable donation rather than an equity investment. Without your signature on the actual ownership transfer. She's committed federal fraud. Maya sat down slowly. The chair's biometric sensors adjusted to her body temperature, a small luxury she barely noticed anymore. 5 years of pretending to count pennies while sitting on an 800 million credit inheritance had made her forget what comfort felt like. What about the credit accounts? Patricia's expression darkened. 3 accounts opened in Daniel's name. Combined debt, 340,000 credits. The signature authentication. She pulled up comparison documents. Digital forgery. Cordelia used a SynthSign program, illegal in 12 states, to replicate Daniel's biometric signature. Does he know? The statements route to an address in Pacific Heights. Cordelia's address. Maya's hands flattened against the cool surface of the table. Through the window, a news drone hovered near the building, its camera lens scanning for stories. She wondered what headline it would write about her if it knew the truth. Billionaire plays poor while funding in-laws' lifestyle. Or maybe, woman discovers love costs 4 million credits, Richard? She asked, complicit in the business restructuring, oblivious to the fraud. Patricia scrolled through more documents. Sienna is Sienna. She doesn't ask where credits come from as long as her social media presence stays platinum tier. Vanessa stood, her heels clicking against the smart floor as she approached Maya. What do you want to do? Maya looked at the projection again, all those red lines, all that money flowing out of her accounts and into the Whitmore family's carefully maintained facade. She thought about Cordelia's smile at last month's charity gala, the way she'd introduced Maya as Daniel's little wife while wearing a quantum pearl necklace that cost more than most people earned in a year. A necklace Maya had unknowingly paid for. I want a presentation, Maya said. Visual, impossible to misunderstand. Every transaction, every forged signature, every lie. I want it ready for the anniversary party. Vanessa's augmented lenses flashed with approval. Full scorched earth? No. Maya met her eyes. Full transparency. There's a difference. Daniel came home agitated, his neural implant still glowing softly from the commute. He'd been reviewing student portfolios on the maglev train. Maya looked up from her tablet, where she'd been coordinating placement for a 14-year-old foster kid with exceptional coding skills. My mother scheduled a family therapy session, he said, setting his messenger bag on the counter. For us. Without asking us, Maya saved her work and closed the tablet. Excuse me, she says she's concerned about our marriage. Daniel's fingers drummed against the counter, a nervous habit he'd never managed to suppress. She thinks we're struggling with fundamental incompatibility and wants to help before it's too late. The apartment's ambient lighting system sensed the tension, dimming slightly and shifting toward calmer blue wavelengths. Maya disabled it with a gesture. What did you tell her? That we're fine. Then she started crying. Daniel moved to the window, looking out at the city's neural net traffic pattern. She said she can see I'm dimming my potential to accommodate your lifestyle, my lifestyle. Maya's voice went flat. Daniel turned. She doesn't understand what we have. She thinks success looks like Vanessa Reeves? Maya stood. Like someone with a verified social credit score and a wardrobe that costs more than our rent. She's coming from a place of love, Daniel. Maya crossed to him, studying his face in the glow from the window. Your mother doesn't want to understand our life. She wants to end it and replace me with someone who photographs better at country club events. He couldn't hold her gaze. That told her everything. Maya softened her voice. I'm not asking you to choose. But I need you to watch, really watch, how your family treats me at the anniversary party. Afterward, we'll talk, he nodded, confused but trusting. Maya hated keeping secrets from him, but the reveal had to be complete. If she showed him piece by piece, he'd rationalize each element away. She knew how his mind worked, always looking for the best in people, always finding excuses. She'd loved that about him once. The email arrived in Maya's neural feed while she was helping a 9-year-old girl named Sophie test virtual reality education modules. The sender, Cordelia Whitmore. The subject line, anniversary party seating and announcement prep. Maya's implant flagged it as accidentally included. She'd been auto-added from a previous exchange about dietary restrictions. She opened it, and her heart rate spiked so dramatically that Sophie's biometric monitor beeped an alarm. Ms. Chen? Are you okay? Maya forced a smile. Just a work message, sweetie. Keep exploring the Mars simulation. I want your feedback on the gravity mechanics. She stepped into the hallway and read the email again, her vision sharpening with each word. Dear all, confirming seating for Saturday. Daniel at the head table with family. Vanessa to his left. Maya at table 8 with junior members. I'm sure she'll be comfortable there. For speeches, I'll discuss choosing the right life partner and how we sometimes make decisions when young that we outgrow. We'll highlight Daniel's growth through his work with Vanessa. Richard will announce the Napa Vineyard project and Daniel's 10% ownership stake. Important that people see him as a serious businessman, not just a teacher. After dinner, I've arranged for romantic music. Vanessa has agreed to dance with Daniel. Let's give people something to talk about. Maya read it 3 times. Cordelia was planning to publicly erase her from Daniel's narrative, position Vanessa as his true partner, and humiliate her, all at an event celebrating marriage and commitment. She forwarded it to Vanessa with one line. She just made this very easy. Daniel started noticing things. His mother calling 3 times in one evening to discuss party details but never mentioning Maya. Vanessa's direct messages about the Napa project growing increasingly personal. You have such vision. I love working with creative minds like yours. Then Sienna's Instagram post appeared in his feed, a photo of her, Cordelia, and Vanessa at a spa, their faces glowing with youth enhancement filters. Caption: Found my future sister-in-law. Upgrade complete. New beginnings. Daniel called Sienna immediately, pacing their apartment's small living room while Maya was at the foster care center. What the hell does upgrade complete mean? Sienna laughed, the sound tinny through the neural link. Oh my god, relax. It's just a joke. Vanessa's awesome. Mom thinks you two have great chemistry. I'm married, Sienna. Yeah, but, are you happy though? Really? Maya's sweet, but she doesn't get our world. Vanessa does. Mom's just trying to help you see what's possible. Daniel ended the call. He sat in his car, an old hybrid model he'd bought before neural drive vehicles became standard, and his hands shook against the steering wheel for 20 minutes. That night, he found Maya reviewing foster placement files at the kitchen table, her neural implant dim in the evening light. Do you ever feel like my family is trying to break us up? Maya looked at him carefully. She saved her work, closed the tablet, gave him her full attention. Yes. Every single day for 5 years. Why didn't you say something? I did. You told me they were difficult and meant well. Daniel had no response. The apartment's ambient intelligence sensed the emotional weight and adjusted the temperature down 2 degrees. Neither of them noticed. Maya broke down alone in the apartment. Daniel was at a late faculty meeting, reviewing portfolio submissions for the district's annual showcase. She sat on their worn couch. They'd bought it secondhand 7 years ago when they were both pretending to be broke, and the weight of everything crushed her at once. She called Jenna Park, her college roommate, the only person who'd known her before the inheritance, before Daniel, before everything became complicated. I don't know if I can do this. Maya's voice cracked. What if he hates me after? What if I'm the villain? Jenna's face appeared in the holographic projection above Maya's wristcom. She was in Seoul, 12 hours ahead, drinking morning coffee while Maya fell apart at night. Maya. You've been funding his family's lifestyle while they treat you like dirt. You've been protecting him from knowing how bad things are. And you've let yourself be disrespected because you love him. The question isn't whether he'll hate you. The question is whether he's worthy of you. I love him, I know. But love isn't enough if he can't see you, really see you, and defend you. Maya knew Jenna was right. This wasn't about revenge. It was about whether Daniel could step up, whether he could be the partner she needed, not just the partner who loved her in private but wouldn't fight for her in public. The next morning, she called Vanessa. I want to give Daniel a choice. Before the party. I want to tell him everything and let him decide if he wants to be there when we reveal it. Are you sure? He might tell Cordelia. He won't. Whatever his flaws, Daniel's not a liar. And if he does? Maya took a breath. Then I'll know where his loyalty lies. Maya made spaghetti carbonara, Daniel's favorite, the recipe his grandmother taught him before the neural cooking apps made memory keeping obsolete. She opened wine, set the table, disabled all the smart home features so nothing could interrupt them. When Daniel arrived, his neural implant still glowing from work, she asked him to sit. "This feels ominous," he said, trying to smile. Maya didn't smile back. "I need to tell you everything. And I need you to listen without interrupting." Daniel's face went serious. "Okay," she told him. "All of it. Her grandfather's inheritance. 847 million credits, currently, after strategic investments and compound growth over 7 years. Why she'd kept it secret. Her parents' divorce, the custody battle over money, her fear of being loved for wealth instead of herself. How she'd discovered his family's financial crisis 5 years ago through a routine credit check before co-signing their apartment lease. The anonymous trust fund she'd created. 4.2 million credits poured into keeping them afloat while they called her a gold digger at family dinners. The country club membership she'd funded. The credit cards with his name that she'd paid off. The business opportunities that were actually her investments disguised through shell corporations. Cordelia's fraud. Accounts opened in his name, signatures forged using illegal biometric software. The Napa Vineyard scam. 2.5 million credits stolen through manipulated blockchain registration. Vanessa's real identity, not a business contact, but Maya's attorney and financial advisor since before they'd married. Cordelia's plan to orchestrate an affair, documented in emails and social media posts, culminating in the anniversary party's public humiliation. By the time Maya finished, Daniel was pale. He hadn't touched his food. The carbonara had gone cold, the wine sat untouched, and he just stared at her like she'd become a stranger. "Say something," Maya whispered. Daniel stood abruptly. He walked to the window, stared out at the neural net traffic patterns painting light across the darkness. A full minute passed, 60 seconds measured by their smart home system, which helpfully displayed a timer neither of them wanted to see. "You've been lying to me for 7 years, Maya flinched. "I was protecting, no." Daniel turned, and his expression made her stomach drop. Don't justify it. You lied about who you are. About what you can afford. About your entire life. I wanted you to love me for me, not for your money. I get it." His voice cracked. "But Maya, a marriage is supposed to be a partnership. You made me feel like a provider when you were paying for everything. You made me feel like we were struggling together when you had nearly 1 billion credits. Do you understand how that makes me feel? Like our entire relationship is performance art. It's not, is it?" Daniel's hand shook. "Because you've been playing a role." Poor, modest Maya. Was any of it true? "Do you even like this apartment, or have you been slumming it to maintain your cover story? That's not fair. None of this is fair." The apartment systems tried to intervene, calming lights, temperature adjustment, ambient sound, but Daniel overrode them with a gesture. "My mother has been treating you like garbage, and you could have ended it any time by telling the truth. But you didn't. You let her abuse you. You let me fail to defend you. You watched our whole family be horrible while secretly paying for their lives." What the hell, Maya? The argument spiraled for an hour. Daniel felt betrayed, manipulated, emasculated. Maya tried to explain her trauma, her fear, her desperate need for authentic connection in a world where wealth corrupted everything. Finally, emotionally destroyed, Daniel said, "I need time. I'm staying at a hotel tonight, Daniel, please, I'm not leaving you. I can't look at you right now without my entire understanding of our marriage crumbling. I need space." He packed a bag, clothes, toiletries, his neural charging dock, and left. Maya sat alone in their apartment and cried. The smart home system, detecting her distress, offered meditation programs and therapeutic lighting. She disabled everything and sobbed in the dark. Daniel didn't call. Didn't message. Maya gave him space, but it killed her. She went to work, helped her foster kids navigate virtual classrooms and emotional crises. At night she sat in their apartment, wondering if he was coming back. Vanessa called Tuesday evening. Is he still coming to the party? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore, Maya, we can postpone, no. Saturday. With or without him. Cordelia needs to be stopped, but inside, Maya was breaking. The revenge meant nothing if she lost Daniel. Daniel had spent 4 days in a hotel room with adaptive smart walls that responded to his emotional state, turning warmer when he was sad, cooler when he was angry. He'd barely slept, replaying their entire relationship through a new lens. He was furious. Hurt. He felt like a fool. But he was also something else. He thought about Maya waking early to make real coffee, not synthesized, actual beans she ground by hand, every morning for 7 years. About how she never complained when his family excluded her from trips and events. About how she supported his teaching when Cordelia mocked it as poverty work. He thought about the foster kids' drawings on their refrigerator, children Maya had helped place in loving homes. About how she'd cried when Sophie got adopted. About how she'd turned down a promotion requiring relocation because she didn't want to disrupt his career. He thought about how she lived in a 2-bedroom apartment when she could afford a penthouse. How she drove a 10-year-old hybrid when she could buy a neural-drive vehicle in cash. How she'd chosen him, a struggling art teacher, when she could have anyone. And he thought about his mother planning to publicly humiliate his wife at an anniversary party celebrating marriage. About Maya funding his family's lifestyle while they spit on her. Thursday night, Daniel called his father on a secure line. Dad, I need honesty. Is the family business in trouble? Richard was silent. Then, quietly, how did you know? Just tell me, we were bankrupt 5 years ago. Should have lost everything. But we got an anonymous investor. They've been keeping us afloat. Do you know who? No. Your mother handles it. She says they want anonymity. Daniel closed his eyes. Did you know Mom opened credit accounts in my name? A longer silence. What? Credit accounts? Loans. In my name. Without permission, Daniel, I don't know anything about that. He heard truth in his father's voice. Richard wasn't malicious, just weak. He'd let Cordelia run everything, make all decisions, never questioned where money came from. What's Mom's plan for the anniversary party? Specifically about me and Maya. Richard sighed. I'm not supposed to say, but your mother thinks you made a mistake. She believes Maya held you back. She's been telling people you're realizing this, considering your options. What options? There's a woman. Vanessa. Your mother thinks she'd be better for you. She's been creating opportunities for you to what? Have an affair? No. Just to see what else is possible. If you spent time with someone from our world, you'd realize what you're missing. Daniel laughed bitterly. Our world. The world where you're all broke and saved by my wife's charity. What? Nothing. I have to go. He ended the call and knew exactly what he needed to do. Daniel showed up at the apartment at dawn. Maya answered in pajamas, eyes red from crying. Her neural implant was dark. She'd disabled it, cutting herself off from the world. They stared at each other. I'm sorry, they said simultaneously. Daniel spoke first. I'm still angry about the lies. But I've been thinking. You were right to be scared. My family is toxic. And I've been enabling them for years. Maya's voice cracked. I should have trusted you with the truth. I should have, he kissed her. Desperate, emotional. When they pulled apart, both were crying. I'm going to that party, Daniel said. And I'm standing beside you when you blow up my mother's world. Because she deserves it. And because I should have been defending you all along. Maya touched his face. You don't have to. Yes, I do. I've been a coward. I've been more afraid of confronting my mother than protecting my wife. That ends now. They held each other as dawn light filled the apartment. Then Daniel said, So, you're a billionaire. Maya laughed through tears. Technically. Does that bother you? I mean, it's weird. But also, he grinned slightly. Also kind of hot? My wife is the secret financial powerhouse pretending to be regular. That's very Clark Kent, so you're not leaving me, Maya? I'm angry about the lies. We need therapy. But leaving? Never. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Even if you are a lying, secretive, billionaire socialist. Billionaire socialist, you live in a 2-bedroom apartment and shop at Target. By billionaire standards, you're basically a communist, they laughed, and it felt like coming home. Later that morning, Daniel, Maya, and Vanessa met at Vanessa's office. They reviewed the presentation one final time, financial data, forged signatures, Cordelia's emails, everything laid out in undeniable clarity. Daniel looked at the evidence and his jaw tightened. Let's end this, he said. Tomorrow night, at the Whitmore 35th anniversary party, everything would change. The Riverside Country Club materialized through the evening mist like a hologram of old money, its adaptive smart glass facade shifting to complement the sunset. Maya Chin stood in the valet queue behind 3 Tesla Roadster XS and a hydrogen Bentley, her 10-year-old Honda Civic humming apologetically. The valet's neural implant flickered as he scanned her vehicle registration, his expression carefully neutral, professionally blank. She handed him the keys and watched him navigate the car toward the distant overflow lot, away from the gilded entrance where the real guests arrived. Daniel squeezed her hand. You okay? Maya nodded, smoothing the simple black dress she'd found at Nordstrom Rack 3 months ago. Around them, women draped in designer gowns with integrated climate control and bioresponsive fabrics glided past, their jewelry pulsing with soft bioluminescence. She'd seen those quantum pearl necklaces in storefront displays. 40,000 credits. Each. I'm fine, she lied. The club's entrance arch scanned their biometric data, admitted them with a soft chime. Inside, the ballroom had transformed into something from a pre-collapse fantasy, all crystal chandeliers with programmable light arrays and white roses that released subtle pheromones designed to encourage social bonding and elevated mood. 200 guests an evening were clustered in conversation pods, their augmented reality overlays invisible to Maya but evident in their distracted gazes and subtle hand gestures. Champagne flowed from a fountain with liquid nitrogen vapor effects. A string quartet played Vivaldi, their instruments augmented to produce harmonics impossible for acoustic strings alone. Cordelia Whitmore held court near the main stage, resplendent in what Maya recognized as custom Valentino, the fabric embedded with micro-LEDs that caught the light like captured stars. She laughed too loudly at something a man in a tuxedo said, her hand on his arm, her posture radiating ownership of the space, the moment, the entire evening. Daniel's mother spotted them. Her smile didn't falter, exactly, but something behind her eyes shifted, recalculated. She excused herself from her conversation and approached with the kind of grace that money could buy, 3 years of deportment coaching visible in every step. Daniel. Maya. She air-kissed them both, her lips never making contact, her perfume synthetic and expensive. So glad you could make it. Maya, I hope you don't mind, but I had to adjust the seating. You understand, family politics. Maya's stomach tightened. Of course. Where am I sitting? Table 8, near the back. You'll be with some lovely junior members. Cordelia's smile was porcelain, unbreakable. Daniel, you're at the head table with us. Naturally, Daniel opened his mouth to protest, but Maya squeezed his hand, hard. That's fine. I'm sure it will be an interesting evening from any vantage point. Cordelia's forehead would have creased if the cosmetic neural blockers hadn't frozen it years ago. She recovered quickly, her social programming too deeply embedded to show confusion for long. Wonderful. Vanessa's already here, Daniel. She's at the head table too. Looking forward to her speech? Maya kept her voice light, curious, unthreatening. Oh yes. Vanessa's saying a few words about partnerships and success. It's going to be lovely. Cordelia's hand landed on Daniel's arm, proprietary. Daniel, you should say hello to her before dinner. She's been asking about you. Maya watched Daniel's jaw tighten, watched him open his mouth to refuse, watched him glance at her for permission. She gave him the smallest nod. Go ahead. I'll find my table. She shouldn't have to give him permission. She shouldn't have to manage his relationship with his own family like a hostage negotiation. But 5 years of marriage to Daniel Whitmore had taught her that sometimes the only way to win was to appear to lose gracefully. Maya navigated through the crowd toward table 8, passing clusters of people whose net worth exceeded small countries' GDP. Their conversations filtered through her awareness. Market projections. Vacation homes in the Mars orbital colonies. Which neural enhancement clinics offered the best cognitive upgrades? She recognized some faces from society page holograms, others from Daniel's family events where she'd stood in corners, smiled politely, and been systematically erased from every meaningful conversation. Table 8 sat in the ballroom's equivalent of Siberia, near the kitchen doors where staff rushed in and out. Her table mates were already seated, 5 junior club members who looked barely old enough to drink legally, their expressions ranging from bored to resentful. They glanced up as she approached, their augmented reality contact lenses probably feeding them her bio, her social credit score, her complete lack of influence. Hi, Maya said, taking her seat. I'm Maya Chen, a blonde woman with a voice like honey over glass spoke first. We know. You're Daniel Whitmore's wife. The art teacher's wife. Her tone made art teacher sound like street cleaner. That's me. Maya unfolded her napkin. The fabric real linen, expensive, another reminder of everything she wasn't supposed to notice or care about. The conversation at table 8 died after that. Her tablemates returned to their own discussions, their own augmented reality feeds, leaving Maya in a bubble of isolation in a room full of 200 people. She watched the head table, watched Daniel seated between Cordelia and Vanessa Park, watched Cordelia lean close to whisper something that made Daniel's shoulders tense. Vanessa looked perfect, of course. Stunning red gown, sophisticated updo, the kind of woman who belonged in spaces like this. Maya knew Vanessa was her attorney, her financial advisor, the keeper of secrets that could detonate this entire evening. But to everyone else, Vanessa was Cordelia's pick for Daniel's real partner, the woman he should have married, the upgrade that would restore the Whitmore family to its proper social altitude. Maya's wrist communicator vibrated softly. A message from Vanessa, text only, encrypted. All systems ready. Just say when. Maya didn't respond. Not yet. Let it build. Let Cordelia have her moment. The higher she climbed, the farther she'd fall. Waiters circulated with appetizers, tiny architectural achievements of molecular gastronomy that dissolved on the tongue and probably cost more per bite than Maya's monthly grocery budget. She accepted one, tasted nothing, swallowed obligation. At the head table, Cordelia stood, tapping her champagne glass with a neural signal that made every glass in the room chime in harmony. The conversations died. 200 faces turned toward her. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate 35 years of marriage, family, and partnership." Polite applause rippled through the ballroom. Maya's hands remained in her lap. Cordelia continued, her voice amplified by discreet speakers embedded in the walls. "Richard and I have been blessed with a wonderful life, 2 amazing children, and the opportunity to build something meaningful together. Tonight, I want to talk about the importance of choosing the right partner. Someone who shares your values, your ambitions, your vision for the future." Maya's fingernails dug into her palms. She wondered if anyone else heard what she heard, the coded language, the implicit accusation. We've watched our children grow, make their own choices about partners and life paths. Cordelia's gaze swept the room, landing briefly on Maya before moving on. "And I'm proud to say that we're seeing growth, evolution, and maturity. Daniel, sweetheart, would you stand?" Daniel stood slowly, reluctantly, his body language screaming discomfort. Maya watched him from across the room, watched him become a prop in his mother's performance. "My son has always had such incredible potential. And lately, working with accomplished professionals like Vanessa Park." Cordelia gestured to Vanessa, who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. "He's really coming into his own. Daniel's been instrumental in our new luxury vineyard project in Napa, showing real business acumen. I'm proud to announce that Daniel now owns 10% of this venture, valued at over $3 million. The room erupted in gasps, applause, congratulations. People looked at Daniel with new eyes, recalculating his worth, his status, his place in their social hierarchy. He wasn't just a high school art teacher anymore, he was a businessman with a multi-million-dollar stake in a luxury venture. Maya remained perfectly still. She didn't clap. She didn't gasp. She watched Cordelia orchestrate the moment, watched her son's face cycle through confusion, embarrassment, and dawning horror as he realized what was happening. "I've always believed," Cordelia said, her voice dropping to something more intimate, more dangerous, "that as we grow, we sometimes outgrow the choices we made when we were young. And that's okay. Growth requires us to reassess, to be honest about what we need, and to surround ourselves with people who elevate us rather than hold us back." At table 8, the blonde woman snorted softly. Someone at the next table whispered, loud enough to carry. "Poor thing. She must be dying." Maya smiled. Let them think she was dying. Let them think she was humiliated, defeated, ready to slink away into the night. They had no idea what was coming. Cordelia sat down, flushed with triumph, soaking in the approving murmurs. Richard looked uncomfortable in his tuxedo, shifting in his seat, not meeting anyone's eyes. Sienna Whitmore, Daniel's sister, was filming everything on her phone, probably streaming it live to her 70,000 Instagram followers. Her caption would be something vapid and cruel. "Mom is serving truth tonight. Family values. Growth mindset." All the empty phrases that meant nothing, signified nothing, revealed nothing except the hollow core of people who measured worth in metrics and visibility. The waiters brought the main course. Maya ate mechanically, tasting nothing, her mind elsewhere. She was thinking about Patricia Valdez's presentation, the documents queued and ready, the evidence compiled over months of careful investigation. She was thinking about the moment Cordelia's face would change, the moment everything shifted. At the head table, Cordelia touched Daniel's arm again, leaned close to whisper something. Daniel pulled away, subtle but definite. Cordelia's smile tightened. She turned to Vanessa, drawing her into conversation, positioning them together like a tableau, like a preview of the future she'd scripted. Maya's communicator vibrated again. "Vanessa. Timeline?" Maya typed back. After her speech. Let her finish. Understood. Dessert arrived, some deconstructed interpretation of creme brulee that required instructions from the waiter. Maya let hers sit untouched, watching the room, watching the power dynamics play out in glances and body language and the subtle geometry of who spoke to whom and who stood where. Cordelia rose again, champagne glass in hand. "Before we move to the dance floor, I'd like to invite Vanessa Park to say a few words about partnership and success." "Vanessa, darling." Vanessa stood, graceful and composed, and Maya's pulse quickened. This was it. The pivot point. The moment everything changed. "Thank you, Cordelia." Vanessa's voice carried perfectly, professionally modulated. "I do have some things to say about partnership, success, and values." She paused, let the silence build. "But first, I need to clarify something. I'm not here as Daniel's business partner." Confusion rippled through the ballroom like wind over water. "I'm here as Maya Chen's attorney." The room went dead silent. Even the string quartet stopped playing. 200 people froze, their augmented reality feeds probably exploding with searches, cross-references, desperate attempts to understand what was happening. Cordelia's face drained of color. "What?" Vanessa gestured toward the back of the room. A screen descended from the ceiling. Sleek and soundless. A projector emerged from a hidden panel. The lights dimmed slightly, drawing all attention to the presentation about to begin. "For the past 3 years," Vanessa said calmly, "I've been managing Maya Chen's estate and investments." "Maya, would you join me please?" Maya stood. Every eye in the ballroom tracked her movement as she walked from table 8 toward the front, her simple black dress suddenly irrelevant, her lack of designer labels suddenly meaningless. She wasn't the poor relation anymore, the art teacher's modest wife, the woman who didn't belong. She was the center of attention, the axis around which this entire evening would rotate. She reached the front and stood beside Vanessa. For the first time all evening, Maya smiled. A real smile, not the careful diplomatic mask she'd worn for 5 years. "Hi everyone," she said softly. "I think it's time we had an honest conversation about partnerships, values, and who's been holding who back." The first slide appeared on the screen. The Whitmore financial crisis. Maya watched Cordelia's face, watched recognition and horror bloom simultaneously. Vanessa's voice filled the ballroom, calm and professional. 5 years ago, Whitmore Luxury Properties was 90 days from bankruptcy. They had $3.2 million in debt and negative cash flow. They were facing foreclosure, lawsuits, and complete financial collapse. Richard Whitmore stood up. His face pale. He started, then stopped, having no idea what to say. The next slide appeared. The anonymous investor. An anonymous investment group stepped in, Vanessa continued. Over 5 years, this group injected 4.2 million credits to stabilize the business, pay off debts, and create new opportunities. Cordelia tried to stand, her hand gripping the table edge. "This is," she began. The third slide appeared. Maya's photograph, her financial profile, her net worth displayed in numbers so large they seemed fictional. 847 million credits. The room exploded. Gasps, shouts, the sound of chairs scraping as people stood for a better view. Phones appeared. Recording, streaming, broadcasting this moment to thousands of followers and millions of viewers. Sienna's Instagram livestream viewer count was climbing exponentially. The anonymous investor was Maya Chen, Vanessa said, using her inheritance from her grandfather's tech patents. The patents that had built the neural interface technology currently installed in 40% of the people in this room. Patents that generated passive income measured in hundreds of millions annually. Maya watched Cordelia try to speak, try to protest, try to salvage something from the wreckage of her carefully constructed narrative. But there was nothing to salvage. The evidence was undeniable, displayed in forensic detail for 200 witnesses. More slides appeared. Every transaction, every fraudulent document, every forged signature. The country club membership in Maya's name, the Whitmores listed as her guests, not the other way around. The credit cards Cordelia had used to charge $287,000 over 5 years. The Napa Vineyard project, funded 90% by Maya's trust, structured to give her zero ownership. The emails, the schemes, the systematic plan to erase Maya from Daniel's life and replace her with someone Cordelia approved of. The room descended into chaos. People shouting questions, demanding explanations, their augmented reality feeds undoubtedly overloaded with searches and fact checks and desperate attempts to reconcile this revelation with everything they thought they knew. Daniel pushed through the crowd toward Maya, his face a mixture of shock and something else, something Maya couldn't quite read. He reached her side, stood beside her, and the gesture spoke louder than words. He'd made his choice. Not his mother. Not the family that had lied to him, stolen from him, tried to manipulate his entire life. Her. Cordelia finally found her voice, shrill and desperate. This is a setup. This woman has been manipulating my son for years. She married him for what? Maya interrupted, her voice calm, cutting through Cordelia's hysteria like a scalpel. Your money? The money you don't have? The money I've been giving you? The ballroom fell silent again, waiting for Cordelia's response. She had none. Her mouth opened and closed, her social programming completely crashed, her carefully maintained facade crumbling in real time. You're a con artist. Cordelia finally spat. I'm a social worker who inherited a fortune and chose to live modestly because I value genuine relationships over status. Maya's voice didn't rise, didn't need to. You're a woman who's been stealing from me for 5 years while calling me trash. The truth of it hung in the air, undeniable, devastating. Around the ballroom, people were already recalculating their social positions, their relationships with the Whitmore family, their own complicity in 5 years of systematic humiliation. Daniel stepped forward, his voice carrying across the ballroom. You know what's funny, Mom? You spent years trying to convince me I married down. Turns out, I married a billionaire who saves foster kids by day and apparently destroys toxic families by night. A few people laughed, nervous and uncertain. The tension in the room shifted, still electric but no longer entirely hostile. Cordelia reached for Daniel, desperate. Daniel, please, no. His voice was flat, final. I'm done. He looked around at the assembled guests, at the phone's recording, at the moment being preserved for digital eternity. For anyone wondering, yes, my wife is a billionaire. Yes, she's been secretly funding my family's lifestyle. And yes, I'm the luckiest man in the world because she chose me anyway. Maya felt something loosen in her chest, some knot of fear and doubt that had been tightening for 5 years. He meant it. He actually meant it. Cordelia collapsed back into her chair, her custom Valentino gown suddenly looking cheap, her quantum pearl necklace suddenly looking like exactly what it was. A prop. An expensive prop purchased with someone else's money. Maya stepped forward, her voice clear and authoritative, revealing a side of herself no one in this room had ever seen. Here's what's going to happen. I'm withdrawing all financial support from Whitmore Luxury Properties effective immediately. The business has 45 days of operating capital left. What you do with it is up to you. Richard made a sound like he'd been punched. Sienna was crying, mascara running, her phone still recording her own destruction. The Napa Vineyard project will continue, Maya said, but under new ownership structure. I own 90%, Daniel owns 10%. Cordelia, Richard, and Sienna own nothing. You're welcome to invest your own money if you'd like equity. Cordelia tried to protest, but Vanessa cut her off smoothly. Or we can file criminal charges for fraud and identity theft. Your choice. Cordelia deflated, shrinking in her chair, suddenly looking old and small and frightened. The country club membership is mine, Maya continued. You're no longer guests. The credit cards are canceled. You have 30 days to pay the $287,000 balance, or I'll pursue legal action. She looked at Richard, and her voice softened slightly, showing mercy she didn't have to show. Richard, you're not a bad person. You're just weak. You let your wife destroy your family's integrity. If you want to rebuild the business, I'm willing to discuss a legitimate investment opportunity, with proper legal structures, board oversight, and Daniel as an equal partner. But Cordelia has no role in it. Richard nodded slowly, unable to meet her eyes, unable to meet anyone's eyes. Maya turned to Sienna. You've been living off your parents' money. Which means you've been living off mine. I'd suggest you figure out a real career. The influencer thing isn't going to pay for Birkin bags. Sienna sobbed harder, but Maya felt no satisfaction in it, just exhaustion and relief that it was almost over. Finally, Maya looked at Cordelia. You called me a gold digger. You mocked my career, my clothes, my car, my life. You tried to destroy my marriage. You committed fraud. You stole from me. And through all of it, I kept funding your life because I loved your son and I believed family should support family. Cordelia's face was streaked with makeup and tears, her carefully constructed image demolished beyond repair. You weren't protecting Daniel, Maya said. You were projecting your own values onto him. You can't imagine someone loving him for anything other than status and money, because that's all you value. The words landed like stones, heavy and final. Around the ballroom, people nodded, murmured agreement, already rewriting their own narratives to distance themselves from Cordelia's toxicity. You broke my heart, Maya continued, her voice cracking slightly, showing vulnerability for the first time. I spent 5 years trying to earn your respect. Enduring your cruelty. Hoping you'd eventually see me as worthy. But you never will, because in your world, worth is measured in dollars and designer labels. And I'm done trying to prove myself to someone whose opinion doesn't matter. Daniel took Maya's hand. Can we go home? Maya nodded. They walked toward the exit, hand in hand, through a gauntlet of staring faces and raised phones. Behind them, the Whitmore 35th anniversary party collapsed into chaos, but Maya didn't look back. In the parking lot, surrounded by luxury vehicles that cost more than most people's houses, they reached Maya's old Honda Civic. The valet had left it near the entrance this time, perhaps sensing the shift in power, perhaps just confused by everything that had happened. Daniel started laughing. Actually laughing, leaning against the car, his shoulders shaking. What? Maya asked. We just destroyed my family at their anniversary party. My mother committed fraud. My sister's influencer career is about to tank. And I'm standing in a parking lot with a billionaire wife who drives a 2015 Honda Civic. Maya smiled despite everything. Too much? Maybe. He kissed her, soft and genuine. But also kind of perfect. You're terrifying when you want to be. I learned from the best foster care lawyers. They got in the car. Before starting the engine, Daniel said, I'm sorry. For all of it. For not defending you. For making you feel like you had to keep secrets. For being so conflict avoidant that you had to do all of this alone. You're here now, Maya said. That's what matters. I'm here now, he agreed. And I'm not going anywhere. Maya started the car. The engine turned over with its familiar mechanical wheeze, so different from the silent electric purr of the vehicles around them. She backed out of the spot and drove toward the exit, toward home, toward a future that finally belonged to them instead of Cordelia's carefully scripted nightmare. Behind them, the Riverside Country Club glowed in the darkness, its adaptive facade shifting colors like it was trying to process what had just happened. Inside, 200 guests were already posting, streaming, broadcasting the story of Cordelia Whitmore's spectacular fall from grace, but Maya wasn't thinking about Cordelia anymore. She was thinking about their apartment, their thrift store couch, their modest life that had always been enough. She was thinking about Daniel beside her, choosing her, defending her, finally seeing her. She was thinking about tomorrow, and the foundation she'd start, and the foster kids she'd help, and the life she'd build on her own terms, not anyone else's definition of worth. The city lights blurred past the windows as they drove home, and Maya felt something she hadn't felt in 5 years. Free. Completely, genuinely free. No more secrets. No more pretending. Just her, Daniel, and a life built on authentic love instead of performance and status. It was enough. It had always been enough. And now, finally, everyone else knew it too.